Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here. Hope you guys are having a lovely weekend so far. It is Saturday, August 8th. How about that? It is just about 10:15 out there on the East Coast. And guys, we are here. Yeah, this is a bonus stream that you guys unlocked with a super chat goal, and I am using it to talk about something I wanted to talk about anyways. How about that? But don't worry, guys. Tomorrow, we're going to have a lot of fun because we are going to write the sequel to Halloween. Well, we're going to write a sequel in the Halloween franchise. You guys picked the franchise. During the stream, we're going to pick where in the franchise we're going to tell that story. And then for about an hour and a half, we're going to put together a little something fun. Just really nerd out and have a good time. And hey, if we get the super chat goal tonight, guys, it'll unlock a bonus stream for Monday. Guys, the 40th anniversary of David Cronenberg's The Fly is coming up. So I'm thinking about doing maybe a watch party and then a separate stream where we just kind of celebrate the film and talk about it and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess we could push the two together, something like that. I don't know, just tossing out ideas. But here tonight, we're going to talk about this whole AI thing a little bit. I don't think it's going to be the last time we're going to talk about it here on the channel. I just have a feeling. In fact, I would like to get together with some other people and see, if we can put together some sort of panel. But I felt like I had things that I wanted to, that I've just been thinking about that I've wanted to say. And so I just figured, why not just come out and say them? And then, instead of putting everyone together just as a ruse to be able to get my point across, I'll just be very upfront and transparent about everything. So yeah, we're going to chat about AI tonight. We're going to, I think the whole Eli Roth ice cream man thing, just sort of kicked it back into the conversation. It sounds like months ago, he confirmed that there were, pieces that were generated by AI for this film. And I don't remember hearing anything about that. I know people have their own political reasons or maybe some personal reasons to not really, like Eli Roth. This is really not about him as a person. It's just about this particular topic here of using AI. When it's okay, if it's ever okay. And yeah, I'm just kind of curious to know what you guys think. I know it's a really hot button issue. I'm going to be really chill and calm, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to be really honest too. We're going to get into something that I think is a little bit of a Hollywood dirty secret on AI. We're going to touch on that. And then we're just going to dive deeper into the conversation of if we're going to have to be, do we have to be absolutists about AI, or can we, find some nuance and, kind of approach it that way? I don't know. The discourse is pretty, pretty fiery right now, but I am going to jump on over, say what's up to everybody that is hanging out. Thank you so very much for joining me and spending some of your time on the weekend with me. Hit the like button if you haven't already, subscribe if you haven't, hit the notification bell, all that kind of good stuff. If you're watching after the fact, thank you so very much for tuning in. Please jump into the comments. Let me know your thoughts on anything that we're talking about here today. And if you dig the conversation and dig what we're doing here, then you can hype the video. That's a great way to share the channel and just spread the love, as it were. So let me jump on over and see what you guys are saying. I do want to let you know we have a poll in the chat over on the YouTube side. It looks like you guys are hopping in there already, so that is great. So I'm going to say what's up to y'all, and then we're just going to have a little chat. How about that? I even have some fun. I have some show and tell if we get there. So yeah, let's go ahead and get it cooking. Paula, thank you so very much for starting the super chat goal here with a $5. Paula wants a bonus stream on Monday. Paula, I'm guessing you want a watch party as well. Welcome on in. And Paula drops another $5 super chat. She says, I'm okay with the AI as long as they only use it when it is necessary and they use it in the right way during filmmaking. I think that's a pretty well measured opinion to have, Paula. I sort of feel very similarly. Of course, I think it's one of those things where you should exhaust all other resources, but we're going to get into it a little bit. One of the questions that I'm just sort of interested in knowing from you guys, it's one of the things I worked into the poll that's live on the stream right now, is if there's a paid artist that's using an AI application or multiple applications, like they're using AI to complement the work that they're already doing, is that okay? They're already doing, they're already working in this digital realm that we've had, for over 30 years now in film, and we'll talk a little bit about that and where that line is drawn and everything. But just let me know in the chat, or, let me know in the comments if you're watching after the fact, if there's a paid member of staff that, would be doing that job anyways, and they're just using that as a tool in their belt. Is that okay? Do you want to know about it? Do you want a filmmaker to be upfront about it? Do you expect directors to know that at the even the lowest levels like that, or not lowest levels, but in the post-production, long when they're away from the camera and away from capturing the film, do you expect them to know those things? Like when Guillermo del Toro and Christopher Nolan say the things that they're saying, I'm very curious, do they know with absolute certainty that AI is not being used on their films? I'd be very, very curious to know with absolute certainty. But yeah, Paula, I dig your well-measured feelings on it there. Thank you so much for the $5. What's happening, Ryan? One of our great channel members. Welcome on in. And by the way, Paula is one of our great channel members as well. Adrian, what's happening? How are you doing, man? I had no idea that was even happening. There. Christine jumping on in says, hello, David. Just watched Obsession and wanted to turn it off at least 4 times. AI isn't going anywhere. Unfortunately, the boomers love it. They want to know how they can print it to show their doctors. Is that what that is? All right. Yeah, I mean, is it just the boomers that love it? It seems like, I don't know. We'll have a chat. Welcome on in, Christine. I hope you're doing well. Hope the weekend's treating you very well. We got Blu-ray Addict in the house. What's happening, Blue? Welcome on in. We got Carrie Crave Cinema, one of our great channel members, and Death Squad Mods. How are you doing, Carrie? Welcome, welcome. We got Slasher Fred. What's happening there, Slasher Fred? Oh my gosh, you could do such a long compare and contrast on that because they're so wildly different, huh? Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Yeah, I totally, I hear you on that one there, Ryan. Watching a movie right now, but I'll see this later. Hell yeah, David, one of our great channel members there. Welcome on in. Just want to make sure I'm saying hello to everyone, and then we will get cooking. Let's see here. AI takes jobs away. It killed my art as an artist, says Rebel Sky. We are definitely gonna chat about that and how that is sort of plays into one of the big points I want to make here. So I think what I'm gonna do, guys, is I think I'm just gonna get rolling and just kind of dive into my my little spiel here, and then I'm going to jump on over to you guys, and we're just going to have like a little back and forth. How about that? Does that sound good? Because I want to, especially for the audience that's watching after the fact, like I feel like if we get right to it, and then we get to that conversation, that would be the way to go. So Rebel Sky, thank you so very much for the $2. Let's hit on that topic that you just sort of broached right there. Let me just jump in here. I think I've got a banner and everything. I came prepared. Okay, guys, the reality of AI in Hollywood. So, I mean, guys, we're already at that point. I hope I'm not blowing anyone's mind or anything, but we're already at that point where digital artists are pretty much expected to know how to use these tools. Wouldn't be surprised if paying out of pocket to be able to use them as well. But they're already expected to know how to use these. They are expected to integrate them into their work to stay employable. Now, maybe not every studio runs this way, and maybe there are some directors that really do keep like the lid on this. But I think it's happening. I mean, I know it's happening in that world. And so I would not be surprised if it's in film, TV, streaming, all over the place, really. And then, I think one of the big things that sort of leads into, like Rebel Sky was saying, like it made, being an artist tougher as a job. It's true, because people are having to, they're having to walk like a political tightrope. It's like, do I learn this thing that's sort of inevitable and makes my work easier to do and allows me to do the work that's expected to be able to keep up in the industry that I'm in? Or do I pick this hard political line, especially for an independent artist, right? To be able to, maybe you're selling stuff at a table at, live events at like markets and stuff, and you want to be able to tell people that there's absolutely no AI involved in anything that you do. I absolutely understand and respect that. However, it will limit what you can do. It doesn't mean that people still can't make a living, but it does limit them. And we're at that point, in filmmaking and in television and in streaming. So again, like when I keep on hearing Guillermo del Toro loves to be like, fuck AI and everything like that. And I'm just like, are you sure that it's not being used in your movies? Like, I don't know. And I really don't know in his case specifically, but I do know that it's happening. And then I think so I guess that is why I have the question for you guys of, is it okay if it's somebody that's doing it as part of their job? Is that okay? I mean, I know we don't want something that's just generated from a paragraph and we're just making movies from 8 to 10 second clips or whatever. That's not what's happening. It's not used to that degree, but it is being used, to create environments and do all sorts of stuff currently in film, television, and streaming. So that's something that I don't think anyone's talking about, but I think everyone in the audience should know, because every time a production comes out and admits to using AI, it causes a huge firestorm. People act like they're the only ones doing it, and it's this shameful thing. I actually respect the transparency. It doesn't mean that you have to respect the work that they did or the fact that they used the AI, but I do respect the fact that Eli Roth is like, yeah, I mean, like, you can hate me for it, but like, I'm not going to lie about it. Like, how about that? Not going to lie about it. And I think the thing about that, going from, the reality that it's already in Hollywood and, is it okay if people, technically there are some people that without having that in their skill set are not employable or as employable as they once were, unfortunately. So the industry moves on just like any other industry. And if you don't keep up with the times, you might be left behind. That's kind of how it runs, right? And so, we already know it's happening out there. Are we okay with it as long as, it's something that we know about and something that a staff member that's being paid is using it as an assistance in the work they're already doing? And I guess from there, the conversation should go over to the slippery slope. Where's the line? Like, I mean, people still hate CG. They hate all digitally altered graphics. There are people out there that just can't stand it no matter what. I think most people understand the difference between, good digital work and bad digital work, just like good practical effects and bad practical effects. They all exist, all four of those things on a big old spectrum. The way that I feel about that personally is just like, of course, lean on practical when possible. I think it usually looks better to capture those sorts of things in camera when you can. But the digital effects certainly have their place. And certain artists and certain directors and all of that, they find a way to make really good use of those tools. So it really is about the people that are using the tools, because the tools themselves aren't enough to replace that creativity. And so that's kind of the point that I'm going to take back over to AI, because where is that line? Say you're using Photoshop, right? You're creating textures and changing lighting in Photoshop or in Lightroom, or you're working in DaVinci and playing with the color in there, or you're in Unreal Engine or something like that, and you're building a whole creative environment. There are you can use assets and like randomizers of those assets to create things that an artist isn't actually creating with their hands. They're using this digital tool to create this thing, and at certain points they are letting the zeros and ones do the thinking for them by clicking on randomizers or augmenting those assets in either random ways or ways that don't really you know, require the artist to sit there and create something with their hands, or, you know, explicitly direct it to do one thing or another. It could just be the sliding of, you know, of a meter on one of the properties inside one of these programs. So where is the line? Like, if you're creating environments with randomizers of assets, is that close enough to AI to count? I don't even know. I just think that it sort of gets to that point where it turns into a bit of a slippery slope. Like, are all digital tools just off limits now because they're not actually being done in, you know, the physical space and, you know, in front of the camera? And sometimes there are things that human beings couldn't do that these computers are able to do. Is that just as bad as AI? I just, you know, I think the conversation should be had at this point, because I think it's starting to me to feel indecipherable, because I think it's because of the absolutism and like the hatred towards AI that makes me look at it and think, how different, like the way it's been used so far in movies, how different is it than the way that like CG and stuff like that's been used for the last 30 plus years? And I just don't see, I honestly don't see that much of a distinction when we're talking about the way it's currently being used in the industry, and the, you know, the way people have admitted and the way that they are not talking about, and absolutely for whatever reason keeping it a secret. And here I am talking about it. I don't want to be in trouble. I don't want to be in trouble, but we got to talk about it. So yeah, where is that line for you? So those are the things I'm interested in. Is it okay if it's a paid person on staff using it as a tool to complement their work? And then where do you draw the line? You know, where does it become, okay, this is unacceptable? And is that line at any involvement of AI at all? I don't know. Let me know. I just wanted to get that out. You guys, usually if this is your first time at the channel, you will be, if you check around at some of the other live streams, you'll be surprised to see that in under 20 minutes, I'm actually have gotten to the point here. But if you're watching after the fact, jump into the comments, answer those 2 questions for me. I'm curious. And then also, I just want to I'm going to jump over to the comments and everything, guys, and we're going to have a conversation. But I feel like I'm on a little bit of a roll, so I'm just going to keep on cruising. I want to be, I mean, I've been honest with you guys about, like, I've used Copilot. It's Microsoft's AI, and I use it for all sorts of stuff. So let me show you. And I'll show you, first off, I'll say, again, I just feel like I need to be transparent about it, right? So there's nothing to hide. There are plenty of thumbnails that I just put together myself or whatever. Or sometimes I use an asset that was created with AI, and I still do put together the thumbnail. So there's still that part of the creative process, but I also instruct Copilot to do the things that I want to do. Sometimes it doesn't do a good job and I have to talk it through the process. So I wanted to show you guys what that's like with 3 examples. Okay, 3 examples that are very recent. And I don't know if you guys, some of you might use this for, I know some people get encouraged to use it for work, or some of you are probably content creators and maybe you use stuff like this for your own thumbnails or whatever. I just want to be open, honest, and show you what the process looks like for me, so you can see that, you know, that there is a process there, and that the person that's using the tool is still putting thought into it, and still, I'm not capable of creating this level of art, but I'm capable of speaking with Copilot. So here we go, guys. I'm going to add this to the stage. Okay, so speaking of David Cronenberg's The Fly, I am looking to make a thumbnail, right? So I uploaded a couple images. They're really small. They're on the screen in the kind of top right. But there are a couple images of me, and I just told Copilot, use the attached images and create a version of me that looks like Brundlefly from David Cronenberg's The Fly. Use a transparent background, give it a comic book, hand-drawn kind of look, leaning on the greens with hints of blue, okay? And then it gave me this image that's a really cool drawing, but it's just totally green. I look like Swamp Thing or whatever. It's not really the vibe I was looking for as far as looking like Brundlefly. So I'm like, let's try it again, keep the green in my shirt, but give my skin more of a pink magenta hue, because I noticed Brundlefly kind of has that magenta-y kind of thing. So then Copilot's like, got it, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and it lays out everything, and it's like, all right, let's generate this refined Brundlefly version now, and then boom, this is what we get. and it's more of what I was looking for, and it looks pretty cool and looks pretty awesome. And then boom, something that would have like cost a shitload of money and taken a long time because I would have had to have a big old dialogue with somebody, and something that I couldn't draw myself, excuse me, or even afford. Like that's the thing too, is affording to pay for artists to do like thumbnail work when you, especially when you're making like 5 of these a week. I mean, it's like, come on guys, like that's why when people give me shit about my thumbnails, I'm like, hey, you can pay for an artist to make them, or you can just shut up. And let me show you a couple more examples. I'll just be really quick. Take the attached image and keep the pose and coffee mug, but put me in a suit as if I'm Rod Serling from the Twilight Zone. You guys know that I love the Twilight Zone, and it's just a picture of me with a coffee mug. And Copilot's like, okay, dark tailored suit, slim black tie, subtle grayscale lighting, all that kind of stuff. And this is what it created. And I was like, what's going on with that coffee mug? It's like got foamy, weird marshmallowy cream coming out. I don't like that. So I told Copilot, let's try it again. No foam coming out of the coffee cup. And Copilot's like, okay, all right, understood. And then here we go. This is the result. So there we go. You know, it takes a couple steps. You have to refine it. And then sometimes, guys, it doesn't take a couple steps at all. Like for this thumbnail here, let's create a text-only logo that says, "I've got something to say," with a black border to give it dimension. Use colors in a style that gives off a movie star Hollywood vibe. Use a transparent background. That's right. I tell it, put it in black bold or whatever to stand out, or give it this comic book look, or make the letters crack, or make the letters look like glasses of beer with foam. Like you give it all this direction, and then boom, this time around, it got it right away. That's the logo that I ended up using because I was like, that says lifestyles of the rich and famous to me. So there you go. There's a few different examples of how I've used it personally here as a content creator. You can hate me if you want to. I'm not going to cry over it. We can have a conversation about it for sure. I think that's, you know, a little more constructive and everything like that. But I am very curious to know, you know, what you guys think about this. I know that I've kind of just gone off on a little bit of a diatribe, but whatever you've got, or a bit of a speech here, but whatever you've got in response, let me know. I'm very curious to know how you all feel about this. And yeah, I'm curious to know if you want to see more conversation about this, because I mean, it seems like that's not really going away either. So let me jump into a couple comments that I saw here. Oh my gosh. StreamYard is so funny the way it punishes me, you guys. It punishes me. With AI, I feel like it's something that's being used more and more. If people are getting money from using AI, I am not behind it. AI is like CGI for me. It should be used very sparingly. Just in like film, like, so I guess that's another question too. Should it be off limits for like anyone and everything? Is it just like bad no matter what? Or is it okay if, you know, like films shouldn't be using it, but smaller content creators can, you know, still use it? I guess that's another part of like the where do you draw the line question, or just another version of that question. Blu-ray says, I personally don't want to see AI used at all in movies, TV shows, or music. But I think if a YouTuber wants to use AI for a thumbnail or something like that, I think it's okay. Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of, you know, I think we can tell when AI is used in thumbnails. It's used in most thumbnails, right? It seems like most people really don't care. I think there are trolls that give people shit about it just to give people shit about it. Really though, how hard is it to do Canva? I think I've created a couple things early on in Canva. Honestly, I didn't like the interface. So I do my editing and everything in DaVinci. So usually I just use like their plugins for transitions and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I used Canva at the very beginning to create a couple things, and I didn't find it to be super intuitive for whatever reason. Yeah, I know some people use it and yeah, do great with it. I think like any other, you know, computer program, it's just kind of about like, does it jive with you? I'm fine with AI use in cases where it doesn't cost an artist a job, but they definitely should not be winning awards for AI use. Yeah. That's a good point. Should movies be excluded from awards if they use it at all? And then I guess then we need to define like where that line really is, you know? Because it's like you might not have full on AI sequences or replaced, you know, big pieces of a shot or a scene with something like AI, but that stuff is, I mean, it's being used in a certain capacity out there. Thank you so much, Carrie. I appreciate you. Imagine someone winning a Grammy and all they did was tell an AI to make a song about having a good day when you're down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I guess they just give away Grammys anyways, right? I mean, and that's totally different too with music and everything. Because usually, I guess when I think about the visual stuff, I usually think of that it's used for things that are like not really, it's not that they're not possible. It's just that they're looking for a particular style. Like, I don't even know exactly what it was in Ice Cream Man. I'll tell you guys, I think, you know, there's little black and white animations, and some people think that that's one of the uses of AI. There are images of the different kinds of ice cream, like the names of the different ice pops or, you know, ice cream pops that the guy has. And some people have said those are AI. There's actually a little flashback scene where the film looks like aged and older, and that is where I thought, like live, like watching the movie for the first time real time, knowing nothing about whether or not AI was involved. I had heard nothing about that. During the flashback scene, when it has that old filtery kind of like black phone sort of look, you know what I mean, when it has that like 8mm film kind of look, there were certain things that happened where I was like, wait a minute, did I just see something like slightly morph, you know, and it looked like some sort of weird AI like movement, just something that didn't seem natural. I'd have to watch the movie again to really pinpoint it, and I don't want to watch Ice Cream Man again because it's just not that good. But yeah, it is, you know, I would say creating music and everything with AI would be probably more egregious if you're out there like writing songs with it and everything. What's happening, Aaron? Welcome on in. We got the lovely Miss Jamie Hart. How are you doing, Jamie? Welcome, welcome. Our, you know, Death Squad mom, or Mama Mod. Death Squad Mama Mod mom. I mean, come on. She's everyone. She's the Mama Mod for all horror channels everywhere. Jamie, welcome on in. Jamie says, I'm against AI. AI is icky. There you go. Oh my gosh. Hopefully they wouldn't. Milli Vanilli. Did I just see a Milli Vanilli reference? Holy cow. Yeah, good dancers, just not actual singers. Yeah, just lip singing, huh? How about that? It's true. It feels like AI is just the new CG in a lot of ways, where it's like, you know, it's more about the way you use it than whether or not it's used. There have been people signed to multi-million contracts and have admitted they just put their poems into AI to make their music. Dirty. That is dirty. Self-checkouts and AI, I feel exactly the same about both. Oh, the self-checkout. Carrie hates CGI. There you go. I don't know. I think some of it looks really good. Carrie, there's a lot of computer or, you know, digital effects and digital, you know, elements to film that you're probably not even noticing that are in, you know, movies that you would love for sure. I wonder if Eli was using AI as a deflection from bad jokes. Well, that didn't work because there's one really terrible joke in that movie. See, and I guess, like, how do you figure it out? You know, like, people have to admit it at that point, you know? So I guess, so Ben, are you saying that, like, because I think most people are under the impression that, like, only a few movies have used AI ever. You know what I mean? Like, that's the idea that I get, is people are like, oh, it's just these outliers that have tried to do it and we've boycotted those movies. But it sounds like, Ben, from the way you're talking, that like that either people aren't that naive, or if they are, they shouldn't be. Aaron's against AI and art. CGI is already bad enough, but at least CGI is artist intensive. Well, man, you would be surprised with some of these, the multiple different like AI plugins that you could put into something, and each one needs very specific directions, and then you need to augment the directions if they're not what you want out of that, you know, particular effect or whatever. So I would say that AI can still be artist intensive. Yeah, I would say, you know, pretty artist intensive. I mean, for me, it's not that bad, right, Aaron? You probably saw the examples that I dropped. So like for me, it's like, I mean, there are times when I'm sitting there thinking like, man, this thing's taken forever to really get it right or get it the way that I want it to be. But I would say that for the most part, what I do is not artist intensive at all. But I've seen some work, and for, you know, in show business, and to me, I would describe it as intensive enough that it's would be just as much of a part just using Photoshop or whatever kind of program for all that kind of stuff. I mean, if it looks good, it looks good, right? Yeah, that's what it's all about for me. Like, just mix the two well. Or if you don't have to use any, that's great too. You know, some movies, you know, it's really helpful. They are pretty damn good. Well, I mean, you can still have bad as well, though, Paula. I think that's the thing too, is like, it's not going to save you. The tool is not going to save a bad creative idea, and the tool is not going to save bad art. So AI is not going to save bad art. CG is not going to save bad art. If you do it practically and it's bad, it's not going to be saved. Like, you still have to do a good job with the art, no matter how you're achieving that, right? And I do think for the most part, like, digital work is very impressive now. Yeah. If you can't figure out a way to make the scene work with practical effects, don't do it. I like innovation. But what about like when they add like helicopters or planes or cars in movies and it's all digital and you don't even know? How about that? I think that's the thing, is like, where is that line drawn? Like, where do you draw that? Like, I seriously, the more I think about it, I'm like, well, clearly you can open up a paint program. Like, you can open up Photoshop, and it can be like Aaron put it nicely, artist intensive. You know what I mean? But then there are certain things that you can do with that program that, like, you're not, like, you're letting the zeros and ones figure out how to texture that thing or whatever. Like, yeah, you might be entering in some parameters or something like that, and then you're using that tool, but it's like the zeros and the ones are still figuring it out. You know, you're not. So I don't know. Where is that line? Where is that line? Like, I'll bring him up again because he's very vocal about it. Guillermo del Toro. Dude, the CG in Blade 2, to me, embarrassing. I think even at the time it came out, I don't think that CG is good at all. Like, I think that movie looked like ass, if I'm being quite frank. And I've only seen it once because I didn't really enjoy it, if I'm also being quite frank. The first movie was fine, and the first movie has some pretty bad CG too. But Blade 2, I'm like, it's got some really wonky CG, and then now he's like, fuck AI, and I'm just like, all right, well, Mr. I used bad CG when my career was up and coming. Like, he's in a spot now where he can be, you know, he can say those things or whatever. But it's like, dude, you're still using tools that are like, that require, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some of that stuff from the Frankenstein movie, if there were AI tools involved in some of the digital painting and, you know, environment building. Would not be surprised. I mean, could anyone dance back then? Really, it was all pretty dorky, you know. Of course people could dance, like, you know, Michael Jackson could dance, but by and large it was pretty dorky back then. There's a rapper, Phoenix Flexen, that has a new hit song, Rubber, that sounds like nothing he's made before. He admitted it was made by AI, more of a pop synth album. Yeah, that's pretty rough. That's pretty gross. Of course it would happen in music too, right? The circus of the art world, you know. Sorry guys. Well, what's going on? I'm having a little bit of a computer freak out. I think everything's all right. I don't hate CGI, says Jamie. I get why it's used, but I feel like AI is too far. CGI is just another form of human generated art. AI is trying to mimic human creativity. Well, but I mean, have you used it before? Like, have you gone in and tried to create something? Because I think it, like, if you haven't, I think it'll sort of teach you that yes, it can be very simple, but also you can get very detailed. There are times when I've used it for certain things for the channel where I will type out like a big old paragraph of something to get what I want. because I know that I can't just poof create it out of thin air, or that I don't have the skills to draw, you know, what I want or create it, you know, manually. So it's still all coming from here, you know. It's not generating any of its own ideas, so it's still coming from here. It's just, you know, like stuff like Jamie, I don't know how much. I imagine you were here when I showed off the logos and everything. Yeah, you probably were. So yeah, even that these two icons there, like I made those with Copilot, but you know, it's like if I tried to make those by myself, like I don't know if I ever could. Or how long it would take, you know. And it's something like, again, where that's one little aspect of like what I do here on YouTube, you know. So it's like there's so much more time putting into other things too. So that's just really, it's just like one man show. I don't bring in enough revenue to have any employees or anything, you know what I mean. So yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just, hey, I had the idea but I don't have the time or the skill, I'll be honest, to you know, to create what's in my mind. Let's see what we got here. Gotcha. Oh, I mean, there's definitely, you got to draw a line somewhere as far as, that's why I was, you know, just in the realm of like, yeah, entertainment and sort of, I guess that, yeah, that's just part of the question as well, is like, you know, do we want it to be able to, if you're, you know, if you're independent, if you're just doing it for yourself, you know, and it's not part of a big corporate kind of machine. Davey, how dare you use those features? This relationship is over. I'll leave when the stream is over. I know, terrible. Yeah, Skynet. Exactly, right, yeah. Adrian, thank you so much for the 100 jewels, man. Really do appreciate it. Dropping a Sunday, and it's going to be actual Sunday tomorrow. David says, I just don't mess with AI. Fair enough, man, fair enough. I also don't want to see AI movies with actors who have passed away. Yeah, I know, I hear you. There's a new movie with an AI Val Kilmer that is coming out. Is it? It's not something they shot before he passed away. Yeah, that's pretty icky. I mean, even if the family signs off on that, like, which I just think that's sort of shameful in and of itself. But yeah, that's a really rough area. The idea of like creating actors, like creating characters that are AI. To me, I'm okay drawing a line there and being like, whoa, what are we doing? Like, you know, if we want to use it, or if we want to use it on the visual side to help artists and everything like that, like, I think I'm okay with that. You know, I don't want it to be helping to write the stories, and I don't want it to be, you know, of course, like, I don't want it to be writing music, you know. I hate that people are using AI to make viewers think they are real. Example, females on Facebook or with Insta with perfect bodies or big muscles. Oh, gotcha. Guys go gaga over fake art thinking it's, well, yeah, and anyone can, I mean, it's just all those filters can be troublesome for many different reasons, yeah. There you go. Polly uses some AI on Facebook. There you go. I mean, like I said, it's like I got it right next to me here. What's happening, Ron? Welcome on in. We got Theron the Brutal, one of our great channel members. Welcome on in, man. I'd rather there be bad, authentic art made by a human than AI be used. Fair enough. That is fair enough, Aaron. CGI and Christopher Nolan almost always look good. He tends to do it right. I'm so curious to know how much AI has been in his movies. And if he knows about it. AI won't go anywhere anytime soon, or won't go away anytime soon. People are already making bank on OnlyFans with AI created women. Well, yeah, that's definitely a thing too. Like AI girlfriends. Yeah, that's wild. I just go with whatever's quickest when I'm at the store. I just want to go home. I just don't want to be at the store, you know? Yeah, I mean, James Cameron was sort of at the forefront of everything. And I mean, he even, yeah, talking about Skynet and everything like that. He, you know, created the Terminator. It's still pretty damn good. Yeah. I mean, they were the innovators, right? They created Photoshop for, I believe it was the Abyss, or the program that they made when they created the Abyss ended up becoming Photoshop. Oh, it's going to be nuts, Blu-ray. So imagine where CG was 30 years ago. So mid 90s, like, yeah, Jurassic Park came out a few years before, right? But not many movies had the oomph. It was like the Terminator 2s and the Jurassic Park that could actually pull off the convincing CG. And they were still using really convincing practical, which I think is part of the trick as well, is use practical when you can, because then people might sit there and be like, was that CG or was that real? If they know, ooh, did you guys know in this Terminator movie, there's like 70% practical, you know, they're going to have that conversation. So it's going to sort of make it more difficult. But yeah, imagine how far we are as far as CG goes 30 years later, and where AI is going to be. Yeah. That's true. That is true. Someone created themselves only on a computer, but there are certain times in, where environments are being built and you randomize assets. And then if you don't like the way that they're all set up, you just click again to randomize differently. And to me, I think that's pretty much prompting, so it's, I don't know. Like, I agree with what you're saying, Ron. I still think there's a line there, right? And that's just why I want to have that conversation, why I'm sort of playing devil's advocate with AI a little bit, because I'm sitting here thinking about it and I'm like, it just seems like there are definitely things that I know I don't want AI to do, but I know that I can't freak out about like the way that, or at least I can't be an absolutist about it, I'm seriously maxing out my card, but it is worth it. I want a bonus stream. Paula, do not max out your card. Paula, I'm so serious. I love the support. I thank you so very much for it, but I do feel a responsibility to say every now and again, I mean, you are a grown adult, Paula, but I do feel a responsibility to say it is not required. If we don't reach the goal, everything will be okay. I still go live plenty of times for you guys. I love hanging out with you. So please don't feel like you need to put yourself in any sort of position financially, and don't feel like I'm going to be bummed out or something if we don't reach the goal. I will be okay. It's the same debate that happened when auto-tune emerged. That is a crazy one too, Merc. Yeah, guys, hate to break it to you. Everyone uses auto-tune live. If you set auto-tune at a reasonable level for each song, it's not going to have that like Lil Wayne effect or whatever on it, it will just fix the note. And it happens all over the place. Like, unless you're watching bands play in small clubs, like I'm talking clubs no more than like 2,000 to 3,000 people, and they're probably using auto-tune. If it's like a major national touring act, they're probably using auto-tune just to help them. If they're slightly off, it'll just help them. They're probably still really great singers. It just helps them. It's just a little assist. I admit that sometimes we might not even know when AI is being used, but that doesn't make it right. Someone might have put 2 drops of pea in lasagna they served me, and I might think it tastes sketchy. That's a very good example, Aaron. It's true. It's different than peeing in someone's food. I get the analogy that you're making. So I guess I'm just sort of curious to know, like, did you guys figure that this sort of thing was already happening in Hollywood? Because honestly, it seems like people think that it's only happened in a few movies. At least like everything I see on Twitter, I'm like, wow, the outrage that people have over Ice Cream Man, I'm like, does everyone know it's like happening all over the place? It seems like they would be like outraged at everything. Hey, I will gladly go live for the bonuses, but yes, no one needs to put themselves in trouble. Let's see what we got here. Jamie says, I do paint and draw, so maybe it just upsets me because I worry about there being less value in that skill. Yeah, and it is a different value for sure. I don't think painting and drawing will ever go away, but yeah, people not seeing the same kind of value. You would definitely, I think with, people that paint and draw in a traditional way, you're going for an audience that is going to be like niche at this point. which I think can be okay, you know, if you can target them and find those people. But yeah, it is definitely, I mean, as far as like, yeah, do they even hire, like, do people do concept art with a pencil or pen or paint anymore? Like, I don't even know. They might just do that all on a tablet or something like that. At this point in the industry, yeah, I would not be surprised. But I get that, Jamie. I mean, that, you know, when I think about entire songs, when I think about like actual artists that like have worked with people to make music and then they just decide to phone it in for a record, it's like, that does hurt my soul, because I have that musician background. So I get you. Like, you know, I definitely feel a little more personally about that one. AI is the death of stop motion animation. Hopefully not. Hopefully not, Merc. I never want to see stop motion go away. There's always going to be a spot for that. But yeah, people will use AI to make stuff that looks like the claymation, you know, Christmas movies and stuff like that. Liz, welcome on in. Hope you're doing very well, miss. Are you streaming again later on tonight? I thought I heard you say something about that. Before AI in the movie The Last Starfighter, it looks very CG. I don't think, how much CG is in, well, if it's Last Starfighter, yeah, I mean, they would have used like very early digital effects, kind of like what Tron did. I mean, some of it might have even been hand drawn and it just looks like a digital effect. I don't know. Wonder if you can buy digital tools for your computer that actually advertise and are authentic about it being AI free. See, that's here's the thing though, Aaron. All that has to happen is someone has to say it's AI, and that's all that has to happen, and people will run with that, and people will assume that yes, it is. People can say that about anything, right? So you could sit there and create a really nice slick logo yourself, you know, in Photoshop or whatever, and somebody could be like, AI, and then other people are like, oh, fuck that, it's AI. You know, that's how, unfortunately, that's kind of how we are. But yeah, I don't know if you guys could see, but some of the images that I showed off, like in the corner, it'll say like made by AI or whatever. I'm like, thanks, Copilot. Like, that can't just be deleted anyway. See, I got to see Dio on his last tour, and there was definitely zero autotune for every band on the docket. Lots of errors and flubs with vocals and instruments. But that's what makes metal great. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, if you're hearing the flaws, they're not using them, right? Yeah. Late Night with the Devil was another movie that got some backlash for using AI. Yep. And I think it was just for those cards, like in between the show and the commercial breaks. Like, really, like, somebody on staff made those. That was, you know, they didn't just plug in a computer and it just generated images for them. I expect AI is being used in most media. Not entirely sure how I feel. I saw a King of the Hill AI video the other day and it made me sad. Yeah, I saw this Seinfeld AI thing where it was like, if Seinfeld existed in 2026, and it was just Seinfeld like complaining about Mom Donnie. It got old, like it just got old really quick, because it was I was like, man, Seinfeld was never like literally the same joke over and over again. I was like, what is going on? But it looked, you know, clearly it was AI, but it looked pretty convincing, like convincing enough, you know what I mean? I don't know about streaming yet. I've been feeling icky the last few days. I'm so sorry, Liz. Well, you can take the night off, hang out with us. We'll be kicking it for like another half hour at least, something like that. So yeah, just hang out. I think AI has been happening in movies the past few years, 5 years, give or take. I don't even know for sure. Yeah, I mean, gosh, how many posters do you think don't have AI elements, right? So posters, or I don't know. I literally, I think about environment building and stuff like that, and I think about how those elements are used to create the worlds that these movies take place in, and that because it's being used as a tool to complement the greater work, you know, of building all of that, which is still, again, like you would put it, Aaron, you know, artist intensive, you know, but it's being just used as another, you know, add-on to that they're just not mentioning it. They're like, well, we don't have to talk about it. Even though it's technically being used, it's not replacing anything. So it's just being used like a plug-in at this point. So we don't have to tell anyone. I love it, Ryan. Like, I think Late Night with the Devil is really good, but it's a different kind of movie, you know? it's sort of like a real time, like you actually watch the whole episode of this late night show play out, and then you get little interstitials, like inner little breaks, like commercial breaks, and you get, you know, kind of the background of what's really going on, or, you know, you get the characters like stepping away from everything. But I really loved it. I love the concept of it. It's a different kind of movie, and I like different kind of horror movies. Yeah. Usually I don't like possession kind of stuff unless it's batshit like Evil Dead, but I quite enjoyed Late Night with the Devil. Yeah, probably mainly practical, or actually just literally like drawn on. You know, like a lot of that stuff they did in the original Tron, they had to like hand paint those frames, you know, to get that look. The King of the Hill video is like what a live action King of the Hill would look like. Oh, gotcha. Tom Hanks is Hank, Jonah Hill is Bobby, and it just made me sad. Yeah, I've seen all of those where it's like Super Mario Brothers, but reimagined as like a 1986 fantasy movie, you know? So it looks like Jim Henson and what's his face? Why can't I think of the other guy worked on it? Deepfake has been going on for 10 years or more. Yeah, that's true too. We watching a movie in the Discord this weekend. Ron, I think this weekend, Sunday at, so tomorrow at like 9 p.m. Eastern, I think we're going to start doing like an hour of Tales from the Crypt, because Tales from the Crypt is on Tubi. So I thought it would be fun to revisit that show so we can knock out like a couple episodes of that, you know, once a week, something like that. I mean, I don't know if it would be up your alley. I know a few of the movies that you dig, Ryan, but like, I'll just say that like, I really enjoy it. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I really got sucked in by David Dasmalchian's performance. And I liked the idea of, oh, we're watching a late night talk show from 1978 on Halloween night or whatever. I just like, I bought into the concept. I saw it in the theater. I had the Jamie Hart experience, and it just really sucked me in. I was like completely immersed. So yeah, I mean, the idea for Late Night with the Davey obviously came from Late Night with the Devil. So I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. What's happening, Prince? Welcome on in, bud. Hope you are doing very, very well. Yeah, we are going to be jumping into Tales from the Crypt. I really love that show. I'm very much looking forward to jumping back in. What's a great starting point for someone new to American football? The band or the sport, Prince? Same thing with Star Wars. A lot of space and landscapes are hand painted. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of you know, just really good creative effects there in those early Star Wars. You haven't missed much, David. We're talking. So this is the rare case, guys. Very rare. By about a half hour into the stream, I had said hello to everyone, and I'd actually gotten through what I wanted to say tonight. And now I'm just we're having a rap session. You know, we're just going back and forth. Yeah, I don't know. So let's see what we got. The sport, American football. I was like, because you're always asking me music questions too, Prince. I don't know where to start with American football. I would say watch it with someone who understands the sport, or look up videos on YouTube of maybe somebody that is getting to learn it themselves, and they're sort of like reviewing the rules and everything like that. I mean, a good place to start is just by watching games once they start this season, you know, and just catching up with where it's at. And you can always jump into the, you know, back into the past if you want to. I have not seen The Pope's Exorcist. I like the crazy demonic stuff like demons and Evil Dead, like that stuff I really dig. What's the one, the court case one? The Haunting of what? The Emily Rose? I think that's what it was. I really dug that one. Yeah, Tom Wilkinson and Laura Linney, I think, is in that one. So every now and then there's an exception, right? Where one just kind of hits with me. Yeah. Yeah, that was a wild time. Yeah, I mean, you can check out different eras for sure, you know. I have the NFL Network on my 7Cs. Perfect. You know, you can watch like old Super Bowls and old games on YouTube. That can be kind of fun too. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Yeah, no AI there. No AI there. Yeah, I don't know. What about Liz, how much do you think they use it quite a bit in video games? Like, how much do you think it's used at all for like writing storylines? Or, you know, because you can ask AI questions, right? You can be like, hey, Claude, or whatever the hell program you're using, like, pretend you are a 14-year-old fan of video games. How can Nintendo create a Legend of Zelda game that would resonate with a young audience that maybe doesn't know anything about the franchise, you know? And then it like creates some storyline, or like, hey, maybe you want to try a Zelda game that like does this kind of thing because it would go after this audience. If the AI would probably say like, just put Link in Fortnite for like 1 month and then every kid will know who Link is. I sound like an anti-technology, anti-progress, get off my lawn dinosaur, but I guess I don't understand why AI has to be accepted just because it exists. 10 years ago, we made films without it just fine. Well, yeah, I mean, but you could say that about CG. You could, I mean, not 10 years. Well, you could still say 10 years ago that we could make, yeah, so you could get rid of CG. But then at that point, it's like, okay, so where do we draw the line with technology? Are IMAX cameras too much? What about like green screens? Can we use green screens? Can we actually have digital matte paintings in films? Do we have to go back to traditional matte paintings? You know, stuff like that. Like, so I think that's like, I just think it's like, to me, I like having the conversation. I think like with anything else, I like to remain like pretty like open-minded and like relatively liberal about something like this, because it's like a, you know, even though you might not feel this way, people still use it as a form of, there's technically expression happening. So it's not a 100% artistic expression. So I'm not like claiming that you're an artist if you use AI. Like, artists can use AI, but using AI to create art doesn't make you an artist. You know what I mean? But it is, there's still, you're still expressing something. So yeah, I don't know. I just think it's just an interesting topic. And I do think that, yeah, there's got to be a line drawn. I'm trying to draw my lines right now of like, yeah, I don't want AI writing stories. I don't want it creating fake people to be in movies as extras or lead characters or anything like that. I don't want AI writing music for recording artists. You know, it's like, I do have my things, right? So maybe I'm a hypocrite. I don't know. Maybe I am. It is a really good one, yeah. Let's see here. What else we got? I see it being used more and more in games, and yes, I suspect developers use it in depth. I mean, it's a great way for game developers and even for boardrooms that are coming up with movie ideas. It's like, instead of doing any sort of focus groups or polling to find out what people are interested in or what audiences are responding to, they just like ask an AI, and the AI goes to the internet and like finds that information, I guess. It is pretty bizarre. Ice Cream Man is perfect for the 7C, so you don't have to pay for the sloppy movie, trust me. Yeah, I just still didn't really enjoy the movie. And I wanted to, guys, I really wanted to. I went in thinking, even though people weren't saying the best things about it, like on Monday night, I think is when the first like pre-screenings were happening. Or at least it's the first time I was seeing anyone talk about it online. You know, people weren't saying nice things about it. And I thought to myself, well, maybe that person just has terrible taste. And because like the trailer looked good to me, you know, it looked like my kind of movie. It's just not. I do like the alternate universe channel where it's obvious AI, where Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees kick the shit out of each other. That is pretty funny. Like, Jason shows up in the Halloween movies and like fucks everything up. Yeah. I mean, I think that would be cool. I do think they look great, David. I think they look amazing. And they can look really seamless. So, yeah. I mean, it just would take... At this point, where we're at, David, is it would take a director that's like, you know, somebody like Christopher Nolan or somebody like Robert Eggers that is like, no, we are going to build sets. we're going to paint backgrounds, and then I'm going to have glass matte paintings made for my films. You know, it would have to be a conscious decision from a director that is like, this is the kind of movie I'm making. I'm going to put myself in these confines, which would be really cool. I mean, imagine if, and just any one of these filmmakers that we, you know, when I say we, I guess that's sort of like, what does that really mean? But any sort of celebrated filmmaker. So it could be somebody that's celebrated in the mainstream, somebody that we celebrate in the horror world. You know, sometimes those two cross over. But imagine if like an up and comer like Eggers or Oz Perkins or Curry Barker, you know, what if they were like, I only want to use technology that existed in 1980 or before, you know, like, they could do that. Like, they could say, we're going to shoot this thing on film. We're going to use these kinds of lights. Like, I don't know. That can be pretty cool. So, but that's what it would take to go back to something like an original matte painting style. Paula, I don't think you've offended anyone. I just wanted to be, you know, honest about, just, you know, I don't want you getting into any sort of trouble there. And so I think that's a little bit different too, because like you're seeking it out knowing that it's bullshit, right? So you're seeking it out as a distraction, knowing that it, you know, there's no pretenses that you're like, oh, you have to hear this awesome song this guy wrote, you know? So I think maybe is that a little bit where it's different for people? If it's like, if people are being transparent about it, like if a movie said, hey, we are utilizing it. This is why we're utilizing it. And we're utilizing it to make this point and to do this thing. And if they were transparent about it, would that matter at all? Like to you as an audience member? I think there's something in that transparency that would buy you credit with some people. You know, I think there's always going to be people that are going to be absolutist about it for sure. But yeah, Merc, like I've listened to there's a guy that plays drums. He like has AI write like songs, so like write a country song that says this and this, and he just like comes up with drums for these songs, and it's just funny and it's dumb, but it's like I know exactly what it is, you know. I don't want AI to learn. Well, and I would say that like in very limited ways, like Copilot will pick up on certain things. So it's like I told Copilot at one point, I was like, hey, if I ever ask you for help on a thumbnail, please remember that I always want you to use a landscape version. Like I don't want you to do some weird dimensions. So like I have asked it to like remember certain things, so that way it kind of knows some defaults, but also Copilot will ask me questions. I know there might have been some of those questions in some of the images I showed earlier where it's like, hey, do you want to keep this kind of look or do you want to go for this? You know, it'll like ask a clarifying question. We got Hollywood Lito in the chat, one of our great channel members. What's happening at Lito? Welcome on in. How are you doing, Billy? Welcome, welcome. Can we get a legacy sequel to Jim Henson's Labyrinth? Are they doing something like that? Or is it, they did a Dark Crystal follow-up, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'll do a legacy sequel to Labyrinth. I wouldn't be against, like, you know, going back into that world. I think those, like, I really love those kinds of fantasy movies. They're odd and they're bizarre, but I don't know. It's a good distraction, right? Aren't movies supposed to be like kind of wild and weird? And man, you could really do like, I mean, just think about, we talk about the sophistication of CG and, you know, how AI is going to be here in 10 to 15 years. What about puppetry? I mean, just like that technology gets better and better too. So I want to see, honestly, more like animatronic puppetry or just regular puppetry. What really just depending on the creature. Like I love puppetry in like 80s and 90s movies. And again, I think it's one of those things, you know, it's in front of the camera, so it's going to look really good. It's going to interact with the light and with everything else so much better than something that's not there, right? And then you can still do some things digitally if you want to add something or augment it, right? Biggest thing I have against AI is the data centers. They buy up land, use groundwater, and dump the polluted waste back into the environment, all without input from the people that live there. It is true. That is a grim side that I have not considered before jumping into this stream, Ron. So I do appreciate you bringing that up. That's you know, certainly that's part of the conversation that I haven't read into myself, but I've heard all of this for sure. And it does seem to be an issue with the data centers and with even the plants that like build the chips and everything like that. You know, and that's probably something totally different, but just, you know, technology in general with the way that, you know, taking up the land and just like the control of the resources as well. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly had a scene where they're in a house and you're supposed to see mountains through the window, but you can tell it's a painting of mountains hanging in the window. I need to see that because I wonder if it really was that simple, because I mean, you know, they probably could have done a matte painting, but maybe it would have been easier because The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, that's Sergio Leone, right? I think that's a spaghetti Western. So I don't know how big the budgets were on those. So yeah, they literally might have just hung a picture. I think it's fine at times if you use it as a tool, but to replace artists entirely is not okay with me. Amen, Liz. Amen. It looks dreadful in all the ways I hate. Well, David, what about, like, do you hate my thumbnails? Because I use it in my thumbnails, you know? I mean, it's fine. If you hate my thumbnails, you can tell me. I can take it. I am asking you. OpenAI is Cyberdyne. We got to be careful. We don't need Cyberdyne. We don't need Skynet. Sorry, I know a lot of artists, like well-paid canvas and acrylic artists, and they're about as derivative as you using the word even. And they're about as the canvas and acrylic artists are derivative. Yeah. I mean, I might use the word even quite a bit. I don't even know. We should have a counter. Do I use that one a lot? You guys ever notice that about someone like an announcer on a sport, or like a, you know, broadcaster or something like that uses a word quite a bit? What's the one that there's, oh my gosh, what's the one word? I'm not going to mention the person's name because I don't want it to come off as anything weird, but a whatnot. There's somebody that says whatnot quite a bit, where I'm like, ooh, whatnot is their go-to. If you did a drinking game with whatnot. But that's true. I mean, it sounds like what you're saying, Wicked Pinto, by the way, welcome on in. I mean, there are, yeah, people that create art with their hands, and they could be just as derivative as somebody that is very, you know, that isn't very talented with what they do digitally. If the cat's out of the bag with AI, I think there should be labels on everything that uses AI, explains how it's used, kind of like the rated R for strong language nudity. Oh my gosh. Well, Aaron, so what? We want to be, so then MPAA for AI. An MPAAI. That just makes, you know, it's so funny. It's like, I think when I think about the MPAA, I'm like, well, that was basically started by like the Catholic Church, right? So that came from like, you know, Christian morals and sort of like that seeping into, you know, what's deemed appropriate and worthy of consumption by, you know, people of all ages, really, or just, you know, a guide, but a guide that's used, even though it's not law, it's treated like law, right? So similarly to the Catholic Church, you know, essentially creating a ratings board, we need a ratings board for AI. That's kind of what I'm picking up here. Okay. That's why I think it's fun to talk about these sorts of things, because it's like, I think it allows us to sort of take a step back and be like, oh, is regulating this thing this one way, is it an overreach of power if you thought about it coming from a different entity, you know? I don't know. Michelangelo did not actually create the ceiling. He was told, I want this here and this here and this here, and you have to represent this. Oh my gosh. What's the difference between a psychopath painter and a more psychopathic AI following the same prompts? Yeah, I mean, are the AI psychopathic? Are they really? Yeah, let's see here. What else do we got? At the heart of my anti-AI position is that AI steals from artists. It uses existing art to spit something out. I just can't get on board with that. Well, that is definitely true. Certainly true. Yeah, that's another ugly part of it too, is that it is sourcing those images, it's cobbling them together from multiple other images. So yeah, I mean, like I will tell Copilot, I'll be like, I want it to look like an EC Comics cover, or I want the character to have an EC Comics look, or I want the lettering to look like the font from the movie Scream or whatever, you know what I mean? And then it's doing that. So yeah, that is true. That is definitely true. Have I done it? You're a musician. Have you tested the prompting? Prompting. Yes. Well, the beat that you hear in the background is something that I put together with an AI tool. Yeah, because I was using Carl Casey's music. He's oh my gosh, why can't I think of his name right now? He's oh my gosh. Why can't his music is amazing. It's not White Bat Audio. Okay, White Bat Audio. I love his music, but I was using his music and all my stuff. Every now and then, like I would copy and paste like some of my tags and stuff that I would put in my description. If I ever forgot to copy and paste my tags, like sometimes I'd be like, oh shit, like a couple days later, I would remember. But by that, like he's totally cool with people using his music. He just wants you to tag him in it. But by that time, he's like already hit me with the thing, which didn't hurt the channel. And he was always really cool about it. I was just like, man, I hate that I forget and then it dings. And I don't want I'm like, it feels like, you know, I just didn't like it. So I was like, I'm going to create my own thing through a prompt. So I created 2 little different things and I just use them as loops, you know, with what I do. So yeah, I haven't tested anything like beyond that. But yeah, so I've used it to create, you know, just a couple simple beats where I was like, hey, I want it to sound like mid-tempo John Carpenter. It's pretty much what I told it. So how is it different from a drum machine or a synthesizer? How is Ozzy a songwriter when he doesn't know how to play a single instrument? Well, yeah, because Ozzy he could be considered a songwriter if he's writing lyrics, and even if he's just adding his melody to a song that somebody else wrote on guitar, he could still be considered a songwriter. If he wrote the lyrics and wrote the melody, you don't really need to know how to play an instrument, technically, to be, you know, considered a songwriter or share a songwriting credit, for sure. Yeah. But I mean, I totally get you. Well, and like Wicked Pinto, if you scrub back, if you check out like the beginning, you know, the first like 20 to 30 minutes, I sort of like, you know, get through the points that I was trying to make here. And one of the questions that I ask is like, where do we draw that line of like acceptable digital work? You know, like are certain plugins in Photoshop or in Unreal Engine, like are those off limits because they randomize and they create and let the zeros and ones do the thinking and not the artist? Like, are those crossing that line? Or are we just talking about stuff that's like AI slop, you know, that people just, I think there are a lot, like I see a lot of people, especially on Twitter, which like there's plenty of dummies on Twitter. But there, I mean, I'm there too. So one more dummy with me. But you know, there are plenty of people that just, it seems like they're just bandwagoners. You know what I mean? Like, oh, fuck AI. And that, like, they don't really understand like what AI is or like how it's used in nuanced ways. They just think, you know, it's just the generation, not the generation of like people, but like generating an image that to them just doesn't look quite real, and they'll just call it AI, you know? Let's see here. The AI data centers is a big problem. That's why fighting AI is good, in my opinion, because it might not stop it, but hopefully it can reduce how many centers pop up. Man, I just think it's too late for us. The centers are already there. Yeah. They're already there. Oh, the ice cream man. Fair enough, dude. Yeah, I can't recommend it. I can say this. Everyone should, if they are curious about seeing a movie, they should just go see it themselves, and then they'll know for sure, right? So don't let me tell you to go or not go to a movie. You know what I mean? I can't recommend Ice Cream Man, though. I cannot. I would have a tough time recommending the Clint Howard Ice Cream Man from, what was it, 95 or whenever it was. I don't think that's really that great either. Like, it's got a fun, kitschy kind of thing going because it's so corny. But I mean, the newer Ice Cream Man is corny. as well. I don't think it's as charming, but neither movie are good. And again, they have nothing to do with each other, but people are still out there saying like, have you seen the original one? And it's like, well, as it pertains to Eli Roth's Ice Cream Man, there is no original one. This is the original one because his movie's not a remake or connected to the other one at all. It does blow my mind that people still don't get that. Let's see here. Yeah, thank you, Carrie. I mean, the thing is, Wicked Pinto, like, we're just, we're not trying to get into, we're trying to have a conversation here, that's it. It's just not trying to get into an argument. So it's more about examining, these questions of like, if a paid employee on a production is using it as a tool, is that okay? Where do we draw the line? Like, those are the questions that I'm sort of interested in. Is it never okay? Should it always be okay? Each one of us might have kind of our personal boundaries of where we're like, well, I don't want AI doing this, but I'm okay with AI helping a YouTuber make a thumbnail or make a stupid picture to laugh at or whatever. Or maybe a really stupid song to laugh at. But don't try replacing Weird Al because you can't, because no one can replace Weird Al. Yes. Oh my God, and no. Yes. No. Or just yelling. There's some yelping and yelling that go on as well, Liz. I'm trying to think of, like, I know I said, because I've got my things like, let's see, or how about that? Like, I know I've got my things. Yeah, for sure. It's not a censorship thing. It's more of an informative thing. Yeah. I guess that's true. Yeah. I mean, to prove that though, that would be pretty tough. That'd be pretty tough. And then it would be so embarrassing what if they did it retroactively and Guillermo del Toro had to be like, ooh, I said fuck AI. I said fuck AI and I've got it in my movies. Thank you guys. You guys are great. Great for creators and people with limited skills or financial means. My problem is when people use it and create things that look lazy and terrible and then feel good posting it. Well, how do you know if they feel good about posting? Maybe they're just like, fuck, this is just the best I could come up with. And defeated thumbnail. Welcome on in the crime scene. Hope you're doing well. Can I create a battle royale with all my characters of you that I created? Watch them fight till one is left. I cannot do that. No, I can't do that. I don't think so. Wicked Pinto. I think if you had heard, like, I don't know if you were here for the opening part, like a bulk of the conversation. I mean, maybe in the chat, people have got varying degrees there of like acceptability, but like to me, this isn't about, I'm not trying to go on the offensive about AI art. To me, what I'm saying is, guys, it's already happening in film and TV and streaming. We're there already. Hollywood is, at least to my knowledge, from what I'm seeing, trying to hide it because they're not talking about it. And then if any movie comes out and says that they've used generative AI, they get lambasted over it. So I'm actually coming at it from a kind of similar angle as you, where I'm like, well, whoa, what are we, like, it's already happening, and they're just other, movies are just straight up lying about it, or just like lying by omitting the full truth. Then these other movies are getting basically crucified for mentioning that they're okay using it. And my question is, at what point, like, I mean, people felt this way about CG 30 plus years ago. They were very worried about what that all meant and where it would lead to. But it kept on going, and it's become more accepted. And yeah, we have people that still don't like any sort of computer generated imagery or anything like that. But like, for the most part, people are more accepting now. And my question is, certain forms of, or certain ways of using AI You know, when it's a digital artist working on a film or a TV show or whatever, if they're using AI tools to complement the work that they're already doing, just as an aspect, a piece of what they're doing, is that okay? And personally, I think so. Like, but I just think it's something that a lot of people don't know about, and we should know about it, and we should talk about it. We should talk about it because I think it might, maybe some of the people that do feel like they're more on the absolutionist side of it and just like fuck it altogether, maybe if they knew that it was already being integrated into stuff that they really, really enjoyed, maybe they would feel differently about it. Maybe they'd feel differently about it if they knew that, hey, that artist, those artists are all still getting paid and they use those elements to help them with their job. Now, yeah, the questions about the future and what it all means, and hey, at some point, are they just going to end up replacing those people? So yeah, it's a temporary thing where they still have a job for now, but really the idea is like, how can we get these fuckers out of here and just have the AI do everything? That's a different part of the conversation. And like, and we don't like, you know, we don't know if we'll get there. We probably could get there and we probably will get there. But I just like, for now, we're just kind of having the conversation, and I don't think you're the only one defending it. Let's see what we got. I mean, Wicked Pinto, like you know, these logos right next to me, I use Copilot to make those, you know? So I use it, and I'm not shy about admitting that I use it. And the reason why I will admit when I use it is because there's times when I don't. I'm working on a project right now where it's absolutely no involvement of that is allowed. And so I'm adhering to those rules because they're the rules set in place for the project. And I respect those rules and I respect the project, you know, and I like, and then if I can be upfront about using it for my own channel, then, you know, of course, people could always accuse you of using something like that, but it's like, all I can really do is be upfront about it when I'm using it and be upfront about it when I'm not, you know. You'll be able to tell that it's me working on the project because it'll definitely have my voice. Maybe not my literal voice, but we'll see. The companies who make the memory chips who previously lost suits over artificial inflation of costs and demands are being sued again for the same thing. Oh yeah, they're just sitting on banks of those things. Finding non-copyright music is a challenge. Yeah, I mean, White Bat Audio is like, it's like, I guess it's not technically copywritten, but he just wants credit. Yeah, his stuff is really good. Oh, I must have missed something. Oh, are we talking about the MPAA up there? Okay. Yeah, I don't have the full history on that, so I might have been incorrect. I grew up Catholic, and I know that the Catholics, or at least, you know, Catholic people were involved with setting that up. I don't hate the MPAA just for existing or anything like that. I just, it is odd in the day and age that we live in to think that you know, we're not that far removed from religion, like basically deciding who the theaters would let into certain movies. But I guess every country kind of has a version of that. It's crazy. Like out in the UK, I don't think you can go see those 18 plus movies, even if you're like 16 and you're going with your parent. I don't even think they let you in over there for those things. Like that you have to actually be that age. It's wild. So we're not the only ones that have that. All right. I agree. I think so. Yeah, Ron, you're definitely not a bot. We know Ron's not a bot. And if anyone thinks well, man, if Ron's a bot, then I've been on a voice call with somebody that was, I don't know, I guess running the bot that is Ron. Don't think anything is off limits, and that is totally fair, man. Like that's the thing too, is like everyone, kind of like most issues, like we all sort of set our like boundaries, right? Like we know where our boundaries are at, and then maybe, you know, maybe those boundaries can change, you know, just depending on what happens, or or a conversation that's had or whatever. But yeah, I don't think there's, you know, this is not a requirement to be like, hey, you need to tell me when the line's drawn for you. If there are no limits, then I can totally respect that, you know, for sure. So yeah, I mean, just like anything else, there's bad stuff, there's good stuff. Guys, there have been times when I'm trying to put something together through Copilot and I just seriously tell it, I'm like, we need to scrap all of this because you have no idea what I'm trying to go for. And it's like, you make a good point, Davey. And I'm like, don't you fucking call me Davey. But yeah, I mean, there are times when it's like, it's just not working. And I do just walk away or I start working on something else. And it is a tool that I use that, you know, there's a lot of irons in the fire when you run a channel. And for me, it really makes it a lot easier. I still like, you know, I do all my own editing. That's all done manually by hand, painstakingly. The images that I overlay, all of that stuff is like, that's all, you know, manually done in DaVinci, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, my background music and my thumbnails. I think Wicked Pinto thought you were a bot for some reason. I don't know why, Ron. I missed it, but I know that Ron is not a bot. I find that most aggressively anti-AI art people are not artists or creators in any form. I have seen so much of that, Wicked Pinto, or at least it seems like it. Yeah, and like that's usually the stuff that I see like on something like Twitter, where I am like, man, you're really worked up about this, and I just like, whose cross are you bearing right now? You know what I mean? Like why are you so angry about something that's like not even, and maybe these people are artists and I don't know, but I mean, it just seems like, yeah, they're people that, I mean, I've seen people that are like, fuck AI and anyone who uses it. And I'm like, oh shit, well, I use it. I use it for my little rinky dink YouTube channel. Like, don't worry. I wouldn't be able to employ anyone, so no one has lost a job. Because I use AI, no one's lost a job. It just would have been no job and no art or no thumbnails for anyone, right? I can hardly wait the next episode or the next upcoming streams too. Yeah, guys, I don't know if you want to do, I'll put a poll out for you guys to vote on what you want to do for Monday, for the bonus stream on Monday. But yeah, we'll do, you know, we'll cover The Fly. We're going to cover Cronenberg's The Fly. And I don't know if that means it's going to be a watch party in a separate stream or if I'm just going to put the two together. I might just put the two together. Wicked Pinto wasn't gone. Wicked Pinto was just waiting in the wings. It is, and it's probably a conversation we're going to continue to have. I would really like to like have a panel. It would be cool to have a few other creators on, just to kind of get like, I don't know. Again, like, I don't want it to be just an echo chamber. You know, I can say the same things over and over again, but I am curious to get like, you know, some creators on here that have varying views on this, because I think it would be cool to examine some of the stuff that I haven't touched on today, like the whole, yeah, there is the environmental impact and just the ugly side of capitalism kind of part of it too. I mean, I don't mind capitalism, you know, I just think it's like, yeah, it can still be sustainable. It doesn't have to be dirtbag thinking behind capitalism. Like, that sucks, but the dirtbag thinking happens behind all sorts of different economic setups. Anyways, I just mean that like we could have those conversations about the uglier side that doesn't even, I mean, is really operating kind of outside of the creative world. So there's the way it's affecting the creative world and people's thoughts on that. There's the environmental impact and all that kind of stuff. So I am curious, you know, I would love to find 3 people within the content creation sphere. I know I'm just thinking out loud here, but yes. Lito, I've heard that sometimes if you just refresh the screen, it gets better. I'm not seeing the skipping on my side, but I think YouTube's been having some issues with it a little bit. Well, would you look at that? That reminds me of UHF. Have you seen UHF, Liz, where Duder cuts his thumb off on the table saw? Let's see here. So I told Wicked Pinto, I'm a really verbose guy. I'm a passionate guy. I'm so fucking opinionated. Like, you guys know that about me, right? So like, I totally get it. It was just, you know, the mods are just want to keep the peace here and all. So you're totally cool. And yeah, it's not, I totally get what you mean. Like, when you feel like you're in that, you've got like a point to make, and, you know, it feels like you're in the, you know, minority as far as like the way that the thought is going. I totally get that. But we absolutely value your input, man. What's happening, Aaron? Welcome on in, one of our great channel members, Mr. Super Tanner. Let's see here. I agree that we're there already, but it can't hurt if we're vocal about it. It might scare them into not admitting its use, but for other filmmakers, maybe they'll rethink it. Yeah, I think there are plenty of young filmmakers that are like, never, I would never do it. Like Kane Parsons is like, I wouldn't do it because it takes away, like, I mean, the whole point of being creative is to be creative. So why would I take that away? And then it's like, well, you know, I mean, so again, where do we draw that line? Like Kane, like, created the Backrooms shorts when he was 16 in Blender. Did he use assets that he didn't create himself? Did he let any of the zeros and ones do any of the thinking for him? Like, where do we draw that line? I'm just going to keep on asking that question. I'm not here to tell you guys the answer because it's not my job. Like, I want to know where everyone would put that line, because I guess what I'm trying to get us to think about is, what is the difference? ¿Cuál es la diferencia? You know, are we splitting hairs between certain CG and digital work? Are we splitting hairs between that and the AI that's being used in movies that these movies are being torn apart over? Because whatever was in Ice Cream Man, to me, wasn't like, it's not like they're replacing scenes in the movie with entire, you know, AI shots, or at least if they did, I had no idea. Deep Blue Sea does use CGI, sadly, but also they kind of had to. Oh, what? Because I don't think Saffron Burrows wanted to be eaten by a shark, or Samuel L. Jackson. She didn't want to be eaten by Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know. What if he's really good at doing that? She didn't want to be eaten by a shark or eaten by Samuel L. Jackson. And then to that, I go, there we go. Okay. Got my dirty joke in here. The CG looks pretty bad in that one. Like when Samuel L. Jackson gets eaten in Deep Blue Sea, it is a shameful CG moment. However, there are some good CG shark moments in that movie. And I think they used some practical sharks too. I think they did. But yeah, that we're not going to fight NMO. And then bitten by a rubbery gummy shark. That's a rough one. So it's very, very interesting, Carrie. Carrie, I'm going to give you some shit here because you're a moderator and a friend. I am going to give you some shit because you said I hate CGI. I know you really like Deep Blue Sea. It's got all this CGI. Carrie, are you in trouble? Did you just get yourself in trouble? I'm just giving you shit. Just giving you shit, Carrie. But seriously. I think being on the far end of the AI debate is counterintuitive. Just my opinion. AI is here. I think we should be, there should be limits in how it's used in high risk situations, but art is a little different. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's going to be used in so, like, that's another thing too, is I guess that's also why I wanted to frame it in sort of like, is it okay in entertainment is sort of like the way that I'm framing it, since that's what we talk about mostly here. But yes, there are all sorts of, I have heard of people that are using it to like get therapy or relationship advice. Like, somebody said this to me. What do they really mean? Like, oh no, like that. Okay, it might be cute to do that as an exercise or for fun, just to see and laugh at what the AI says. But that is wild to me. And credit to Copilot. Like, I wanted to test Copilot. So I opened it up and I was like, Copilot, like, how do you feel about people using AI for therapy? And Copilot was like, absolutely not. no one should use AI for therapy. Like, so, but you know, other programs don't have those safeties and I mean, whatever you want to call them. I guess it would be like safeties in place or anything like that. But Copilot was very much like, you can't replace therapy with this. Like, you cannot do it. Like, you can ask certain questions about blah blah blah, but like, you know, this can't replace an actual person. So I was like, well, at least Copilot right now, and I think they use one of the chat GPTs. I don't know. I just like don't even know enough to care, you know. Sharknado is pretty dope. That's got, you know, a lot of CG and it's really fun. It's really fun. What's happening, Antonis, one of our great channel members? Welcome on in, dropping a $4.99 super chat. Says, Davey, are you pro AI or anti AI? To me, it depends on what it's being used for, Antonis. But I would say, like, for independent, you know, creators or artists that want to use it, you know, as a tool in their work, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say you shouldn't do it or you can't do it. I mean, I use Copilot for my thumbnails, and you know, I've used AI for other stuff as far as like the channel goes, right? But it all stems from an idea that I have, or maybe one of your guys' ideas that I'm like, ooh, I want to do this stream, and I'm just like, sometimes I need help, you know, just building something, or even like, honestly, guys, I know this is like super silly. The AI knows how to use like the SEO rich keywords. It knows how to like put something together that should perform well in the algorithm, depending on like where you fit in the algorithm. So that kind of stuff is nice to not have to sit there and have a bunch of like, you know, be crippled with indecision over, you know what I mean? Like, I could sit there and be like, oh, I need to put together a 2-paragraph description for this live stream, and I need it to like hook into the algorithm. And then I'm sitting there spending all this time thinking, what's going to hook into the algorithm? Do I even know? Is any amount of time that I spend on that going to make a difference? No. So I let Copilot help me with that. So I'm sort of in the middle, because yeah, I don't want it giving relationship advice, and I don't want it to make major decisions in the world or for people's lives. But I think like in, you know, for like personal use kind of stuff, I think it, you know, in the creative world, it's a little bit different. But I absolutely think it can be used as a tool. So I would say I'm not anti. And then as far as when I'm pro, it's just, I've, you know, got limitations or boundaries that that I don't think it should be used for. It's a complex question, Antonis, so it's no worries. I just have water. It's just water in my Halloween H45 cup. Just the good old stuff, you know, nothing crazy. Using AI to resurrect a dead character is definitely, yeah, no, don't do that. Like, I mean, a character, like whatever, you could just get another actor to play a character if you want to bring a character back. But yeah, like bringing a dead actor back, I don't like that. I know how to graph a specific diagram, but I look all around me and I can say that I haven't crafted something 100% original. I'm a guy who is iterative, as is most artists. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you know, you're going to pull ideas from this, that, the other thing. For sure. There you go. I'm the same way. Like, I am, as far as like the creative side of me or the artistic side of me, my strengths are with music and talking. If that's even a strength or a skill, I don't even know. But yeah, you know, when I was a little kid, I got pretty good at drawing for a little bit there, but it was something that I never really like crossed the hump or like got to that next level, you know, using my hands for visual arts. And, you know, perhaps I could have strengthened that skill more, but it's just something that didn't, you know, didn't develop the way that like my passion and skill for music developed. It would be a challenge for even a NASA supercomputer to come up with something, I would say, in a natural conversation. Well, you would be surprised, Ron. So here's the thing is, the more you use, you know, the more I use something like Copilot, it knows. It starts to figure out like, oh, this is the kind of stuff you like. Because if you ask for, you know, something similar multiple times, they just sort of like assume, or they'll ask you, they'll be like, do you want this in the regular blah, 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 blah. And I've noticed that, like, because I will very much use my voice when I'm typing out a paragraph for whatever I need from it. I'm very much using my voice, and then I'm letting it put together the SEO algorithm stuff, but it will still use phrases, and it'll still use a good chunk of like the syntax and, you know, the word, the sentences and everything, like in my original voice. Yeah. Okay, let's see here, guys. An hour and 40 minutes. Holy cow, this has been amazing. Just having a chit chat with you guys. I am going to, let's see here. We'll grab a few more here. 28 people watching. You guys are incredible. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Let's keep on hanging out, guys. 10, 15 minutes, something like that. I'm not saying goodbye. I was just looked up at the timer and I was like, whoa, it's already been an hour and 40 minutes. That's crazy. What are everyone's thoughts on using someone's face digitally on someone else's face, like Paul Walker on his brother for the Fast franchise? I think if it has the approval of the family in that particular, it's all like kind of a la carte, right, Ryan? I think in that instance, they wanted to pay tribute to him. Clearly his family was okay with it. His brother was standing in for the role. It seemed like, you know, it was done out of respect and, you know, something that the friends and the family wanted to do and wanted to share. So it's like, I think that's, you know, that's an okay exception, right? I think that's the thing, is it's just like, does it seem respectful or does it seem exploitative? Because I think the way they do it there, now I haven't seen the movie, but I know the circumstances surrounding it and everything like that. And I think the instance that you're talking about, Ryan, sounds like something that's done out of respect, not just for a paycheck or, you know, a cash grab. And de-aging technology, I mean, yeah, that's I would imagine AI is involved in that as well, like getting that to look more realistic and getting it to match up with the movements. I would not be surprised if some level of AI is there. But yeah, de-aging technology, if they can make it look good, can you make it look good? In some movies, it's dreadful. God, remember when they did it in X-Men The Last Stand? That was so long ago. That was almost 25 years ago. And oh my gosh, when they have like young Magneto and young Charles that visit, I think it's they're visiting Jean Grey. And oh my God, their skin looks like liquid. It looks terrible. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. No, I don't want the robots to come after us either. Man, like the robots in like warehouses that do like picking in a warehouse instead of people doing the picking. I see that stuff and I'm like, to me, that's closer to Skynet, because those things actually like have, like those things are actually robotic and out there, physically out there, you know? I mean, you could do that too, depending on how young you're going. I think this is my thing, is like, if you can't do it practically, just hire a younger actor to play that actor or to play that character. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't notice it a lot in movies that I watch or anything like that, but you see it out there. And for the most part, like, I know what it is and I'm just watching it for the mindless entertainment of it all. I think that's kind of that's sort of what I'm trying to get at here, Jeff. Welcome on in. One of our great channel members, Mr. Down, is up. Yeah, just the whole, like, is it the same conversation, just about another tool, another digital tool? Exactly, Liz. Yeah. If you jump into the comment section to give somebody a hard time about their thumbnail, you're definitely a troll and probably a secret watcher. I have an artist friend who's very against AI, and she's coming from a very honest place. It's not performative or grandstanding from her. She's pretty articulate and persuasive in her arguments too. Oh, for sure. There are definitely going to be those people. Yeah, I just see a lot of people that kind of parrot the whole, like, fuck that thing because it's trendy. Like, I definitely see that. You can tell who they are on Twitter because they have a very, like, unreasonable, absolutionist, fuck that view on any topic. They've got a whole fuck that side. And it just seems like it comes from an ugly place. But when you are creating in that sphere and it's making your work more difficult to do, and it's not coming from a human soul, I mean, I believe that we have souls. And I think there's something to be said for that too. I mean, but don't get me wrong, there's plenty of music that people do write that still is soulless. But at least it was written by them, you know. I mean, plenty of music in the past, you know, that's been bad and written by people. Let's see here. I don't want the data center they want to be built here, the Kevin O'Leary one. Our Great Salt Lake is dying and drought is a major problem here. The data center will be 10 miles from the lake. Yeah. Man, they've got some really big, I don't think it's data centers that they've built out here, but it's the chip plants for sure. The Pinto wears hillbilly clothes, but he has a Ferrari hood. I love it. Let's see here. There you go. Never judge a small content creator for using AI, only judge them based on the quality of the AI work they're creating. It is, yeah, we'll see what, I'm going to see about putting something together. I don't know. It's, yeah, it is tough getting a good group together for sure. I just find the longer I do YouTube, like I envy, to a certain degree, I envy people that create with another person, like they do it as a partnership. And then other times I'm like, oh, it is just kind of easier just to like do my own thing and just get to talk to you guys. But if I can put something together, yeah, we'll see. We will see. I will try. Let me catch up on you guys. I am not. Actually, it's been a long time. I'll go ahead and hit right now. Cause yeah, it's been, yeah. I came in sober as a bird, man. Deep Blue Sea was amazing in the theater. It was pretty dope. It was pretty dope. And I was with my high school girlfriend at the time. And I remember she squeezed my knee, like my leg, like right above my knee so hard. I can't remember what moment it was, but I was like, oh shit. Damn, girl. And to be fair, I'm not out on the streets picketing against AI. Yeah, I mean, people usually do the keyboard thing with AI for sure. Yeah. But I get you. I totally get you, Aaron. Yeah, what's going on? I think Ryan's just working. Joe might be working too. So he might work different hours on the weekend, or he might be doing family stuff. So, hey Google, how do I talk to women? Yeah, like this person sent me this thing. What does that really mean? Oh my gosh. Oh my God, that can't be true, can it? That can't be true. I mean, I don't know, because I have not played around with like the ones that you have to pay a bunch of money to get access to. But Copilot, even so, sometimes it's so funny. It will create like that fly image that I showed you guys earlier that's like pretty grotesque. But I might ask it to like make a change, and then it's like, oh, that actually went against one of our safety regulations. And I'm like, but you just created a version. Like you already did this drawing. I just want you to change like one little thing about the drawing. And then, so I've learned to tell Copilot, I'm like, give it an EC Comics horror vibe, but make it fun and vibrant. And it's like, when you remind it fun and vibrant, Copilot's like, oh, you're not trying to show something disturbing or harmful or blah, blah, blah. You're just trying to like have fun with it. You know what I mean? So it's like, so Copilot is very like protective about, the checks in place and everything like that. It's not like the Chucky doll from Child's Play 2019 where you literally like flip a switch digitally. I listened to an investigator on NPR where they tested AI therapist, they tested an AI therapist via stuff like Better Me, and you could tell it was AI, but they gave answers that seemed consistent with what therapists would say. Ugh. Yeah. Well, I'm happy that Copilot was like, we don't recommend it. Yeah, I find that troubling, Ben. I do. I mean, it's not my place to sit here and judge, and it's not my place to say, like, to lay down the law, but it's just, I can say that for me, I don't like it. Asking AI how to handle relationship situations, I don't like that either. I don't know. I think there are plenty of like practical kind of like business and creative ways to use it. Yeah, all that other stuff. I don't know. I think the best way to figure that stuff out with relationships is just fail and learn and fail and learn. And at some point, you know, you're going to get better at it than you were before. I just want to be informed when AI is being used. Everyone should know what they're looking at. I think that's totally fair. I think that's fair. Kind of like the no animals were harmed in the making of this film kind of thing. Or like this film is not based on any person's living or dead. Anything similar is just a total fucking coincidence, yo. I feel singled out here, by the way. I'm aware that Deep Blue Sea CGI can overlook that because the story, the actors, and Thomas Jane actually swam with real sharks, with CG sharks. So did Rennie Harlan. Guys, just I want to give a little love. Well, obviously, always love to Carrie. Subscribe to Carrie Craves Cinema. But let's get a little bit of love. How about to our guy, the unsung hero there, the ice cream man? Just look at him perfectly holding up the comments, looking with dread. I don't know why all the time, but he is, you know. It's true. I did single you out, Carrie. I mean, I stopped the whole fucking, like, I pretty much, other than what I should have done was this, Carrie. I should have gone, okay, Carrie, we have to talk about Deep Blue Sea and turn off the music and everything. Could have done something crazy like that, but yeah. And then I guess, you know, the thing is too, it's like, yeah, you could say like, hey, it was used, and then it would be up to the audience to sort of be like, where was it used? You know, was it used with this? Was it used with that? Like, I think that's where we get into a bit of a hairy thing. Like, do we really sit there and like tell every, you know, or is it just sort of at some point just like CG? Is it just like, hey, you got to figure it out or assume, you know? Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. My PFP, I don't know what that is an AI version of myself. I wanted something that would give me a consistent brand across thumbnails and streams. I like it. PFP. I don't know what that means, but it must be what you use, whatever you use for your thumbnails. This guy, a friggin' musician, a friggin' rockin' guitarist, used to record all of my answering messages onto his DAT. I would come in and do some of his mixing, and he would say, "You can use these." Dude, I really miss recording music. That was a lot of fun. It's been a long time since I've recorded anything. I need year-round Halloween cups. Yeah, I got this at the 45th anniversary convention, and it's so big. I just always have it here for my water. I washed the cup. I actually washed it today, so chill out, everyone. They released an AI George Carlin comedy special that was okayed by the family. Fuck, that's depressing. I don't think George would like that. I don't think he would. But he might be curious enough to want to watch it. You know? Oh. Thank you, Lito. Thank you. Hopefully the visuals and everything cleared up. It's, you know, I don't know what it is. Everything, my internet looks fine and everything. It's been really hot here lately. My computer is also like, I need to replace my computer, so maybe that's part of it too. Yeah. I do like the talky talk. I'm so far behind on the chat. Oh my gosh. I'm going to catch up on the chat because, guys, I only have about 5 minutes left. So I'm sorry if I missed anything. Lito, we're doing a bonus stream on Monday night. How about that? Women have been using de-aging technology since the invention of fillers and makeup. Well, and I can respect that because it's practical makeup effects. But I do find it funny. I see those videos online where it's like a woman will be like, she'll go and meet up with a guy for a date, and then, you know, she used filters on her pictures in the dating app. And like, maybe they didn't, you know, they don't always show examples, but it's like, even if you don't do something like wicked, you know, different to your face, like, so, I don't know, like, so these women will meet up with a guy for a first date and the guy's like, I'm out. You don't look like the person that I agreed to go on the date with. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that, like, at that degree, you're like, you really are, if you're augmenting your appearance, that's a gross version of like any digital plug-in or any sort of AI, you know. What about AI ads? I saw someone review a garment steamer that worked really well, but they used AI ad to demonstrate the product. That's weird too, right? Like, you would think you would use AI for like a logo, or like, oh, I want to create like a video intro, like a 6-second little intro thing, you know? But doing, like, having it do the whole, like, show off the way the product works, why not just show the way the product works? To me, I would have a tough time believing the product would work if you're not showing it practically happening on the commercial. Or don't show it at all in the commercial. That's wild. That is wild. Did I miss? Oh. Yes, I did answer Lito's question. What's happening, G? Welcome on in, one of our great channel members there. Thank you for the bonus stream, Paula. I'll be there to throw down a few next time. Popping in late tonight. No worries, Sean. I hope you're doing very well, man. Hopefully I was able to catch you before you had to bounce. Gory Tiger, what's happening, Gory? We are just wrapping up, bud, but if you want to scrub on back, we had a really good chat here in rare Davey form, actually. I kind of got right to it and just sort of said my piece at the beginning, and then we did that conversation after. How did you guys think that rolled? I know sometimes, like, when I try to jump on here with like, oh, I want us to talk about this, sometimes I break it up a little bit more, which I don't dislike, but sometimes when I break it up a little bit more, I can get lost in the weeds on the chat. So I don't know. What did you guys think? Did you guys like me just sort of like, here's everything I want to say, now let's talk about it? I think that kind of works, right? As long as you guys are cool with it. That makes sense to me. Yeah. Yeah, let me grab my pen again. Let's see here. Yeah, Copilot can be great. It can be pretty awesome. Tia, Nina, what's happening, Tia? Welcome on in. Hope you're doing very well. I hope you've been having a super fun Saturday night, or have you been working? I don't know. Guys, Tia is one of our great channel members, and she is a laugh riot. Absolute laugh riot. X-Women Unite, Wakanda Forever. Wait, which one? X-Women Unite or Wakanda Forever? No, it's okay. You could say both. But X-Men includes X-Women, right? Doesn't it? I think it does. I think it does. I'm so curious to see what they do with X-Men in Marvel. I was like, there's part of me that was like, should I just switch to being like just a movie news channel that covers all of it, or should I just stay in the realm of horror? I don't know. I've been thinking about that lately. If you have something to say to me about that, reach out and let me know. I mean, I love talking horror, but there's sometimes where I'm like, man, I am interested in these other news stories for film, but I don't really have a way to, like, a platform that's appropriate for talking about films that aren't horror, you know? Did I see the Ice Cream Man's box office? Brutal. Hope it doesn't hurt our chances at Thanksgiving too. I did not see it, but I would not be surprised if it was doing terribly. I mean, I saw it at the Scream Unseen, and I was just sitting there, like, after about 20 minutes, I was like, fuck, dude, is this all this movie's got? And yeah, that's pretty much all it's got. Didn't really move the needle for me at all. I hope it doesn't ruin hurt the chances of Thanksgiving 2. Really, I think Thanksgiving 2 is just a scheduling thing. It's, Addison Rae is a massive pop star. She's touring with her music, so she's really successful. Milo Manheim has been, like, in movies and on Broadway. And I just think that a lot of the, I don't know what Dempsey's up to, but I would imagine they'd bring Patrick Dempsey back. So I think it's just about scheduling. I think they were supposed to get it shot like a year and a half ago, and then it didn't work out because of scheduling. I would imagine Addison Rae's schedule is probably looming large because they had her live. If they had switched her with the Ilyana, I think is the other character, the Russian girl, or the girl that's in the Russian family in Thanksgiving. If they had switched them, we'd probably be okay, because I don't think that woman's a pop star. It's cool we're having a conversation on this topic without much drama at all. It says a lot about the community that has grown here. Absolutely, Aaron. And it's, you know, I always want to, even if I do have a really strong opinion about something, I always want to create a spot where we can talk about it. And I'll be like very upfront about my strong opinion, but I promise you guys, I will not let my opinion on a movie or my opinion on almost anything, like almost, I'm talking like my opinion on like the worst things people could ever do. Yeah, those are pretty hard line, but for the most part, I would not let my opinion like change the way I would treat you guys, or make me call you names, or anything like that. And I think like, and I feel like you guys, you know, feel the same way. So I think for us, what's really cool is when we come together and we have a stream like this and we have conversations like this, even if we have little bumps in the road or parts where the conversation gets more difficult, the fact that we're able to have the chats, to overcome those uncomfortable moments, to just come to a greater understanding about the conversation that's had, and like find some peace after that, you know, what a little, not even conflict, but just a little bump in the road. Like, I think that speaks so well to like what's possible. And it's not just us, it's like everyone's capable of that. A lot of people just don't choose to be that way, you know? So I think like, it's just, for me, it's encouraging. I love seeing it. Thank you to everybody that jumped in and joined the conversation. I think everyone had, you know, things of value to share here. And I think everyone's opinion, like I find everyone's opinion, first off, fascinating. I think it's important at just like, your opinion is important because it helps create the conversation. And I think the conversation at this point, when it comes to something like AI, is a conversation that needs to grow, because I think it's too myopic right now. I think the conversation is very like, you know, just fuck it, even though, and we're not going to learn about it, or we're not going to examine it. Like, I think there's a lot of like diving into as far as the effects it has on the entertainment industry, and then some of the other stuff we touched on, like people using it to replace therapists, or the environmental impact, which is a very valid concern. So yeah, you guys are amazing. 2 hours of chatting about AI. Everyone's still here. I think Ron might have been called a bot, but sometimes we do get bots in here. Well, maybe we do, or trolls, I don't know, but no real name calling. We're all good here. We're all good. Carlin did once make a joke about things you won't see, like a man running full speed while taking a shit. Then they did it on Jackass. Oh my God, it's true. Fucking Shauna. In the flesh, baby. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. You all are beautiful. When they did the de-aging in the last Candyman, it looks so fake. You know, I have not seen that Candyman movie yet, but I loved Nia DaCosta's 28 years later, The Bone Temple, so I might have to check out Candyman. Might have to do that. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate it. Sweet. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I think for the replay crowd, it's probably the way to go. And I think like it makes sense, right? It's like, I love sharing the space with you guys and everything, but then I think about it, I'm like, well, you know, at the end of the day, this is like my platform. So it's like, well, we can still all have the conversation, but I guess it makes sense that on my platform, I would just say my piece and then we discuss it from there. Let's see here. What else do we got? I think we're all set. Horror is the only way. There we go. I guess your name isn't specific to horror, so it'd be easy to transition. Don't say transition, Ben. No, I'm just joking. Rebel Sky says cover all. I'd enjoy both. Yeah. I guess I could do a second channel. It's other stuff. Yeah. It's true. Sometimes I think they just punish me. I notice certain things. They're like, no, dude, you don't do that. You don't do that. Stop. I could do that. Okay. Make it my main thing. Yeah, I mean, just keep it my main thing and cover some. Yeah, man, because some of this X-Men stuff, like, plus, I don't know if you guys saw, Bloody Disgusting redid their site, and I think I'm out. Like, I can't stand the way it looks. Isn't it funny? Like, isn't it so funny? You could, a little change like that, where I go to the Bloody Disgusting website and I'm like, I don't even know how to find the news now because everything is compartmentalized, and they don't just have a front page that's just like the most recent stories. It's like all, I just, you know what I mean? Like somebody revamps their site and you're like, oh, put it back. What did you do? So I, for the first time in a long time, closed out my Bloody Disgusting tab. I don't even have it open on the Brave browser. I think I'm going to go back to darkhorizons.com. Garth Franklin, who started that site, you know, decades ago. That's a site I was going to in the 90s, in the late 90s. So I think I'm going to go back to Dark Horizons. And that's what got me thinking about covering other news, because there's all this X-Men stuff out there about the casting. And I'm just like, man, I really dig X-Men. Like, I would like to kind of talk about this stuff. But yeah, he is a cutie. He is a cutie, isn't he? Yeah, he was playing Seymour Crowborn in Little Shop on Broadway. Let's see here. Okay, guys, I do have to wrap it up. We're just after 2 hours. Let's see here. Shannon, welcome on in. Thank you so much for jumping on in. Guys, I just want to share the lovely super chats from tonight. Paula Fitzhenry, did she do the quad? It's not even quad, it's the quinte. Did she do the quinte with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 super chats of $5? Paula by herself reached the super chat goal, maxing out the credit card. I told her not to. I've told Paula about every other stream, don't max it out. Don't you do it. But she did it anyways. So we're doing a bonus stream here on Monday night. Antonis Andriotis drops a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Antonis. Ryan West dropping 10 jewels for a gold coin. And guys, Adrian James with 100 coins and the Sunday. Thank you so very much, y'all. Really appreciate the Patreon members, the YouTube channel members. You guys and gals know who you are. And of course, the Death Squad mods. You guys were great tonight. This was awesome. If you're coming in right at the end of the stream, I do recommend that you scrub it on back. I make all of my points at the beginning, and then we get into a really awesome, constructive conversation where we hit on some things that, you know, it seems like there's still more of a conversation to have, or more to dive into a little bit deeper. Holy cow, Jamie Hart has been a channel member for 2 years. Jamie, that's incredible. Where does the time go, girl? You know what I mean? Thank you so very much, Jamie. Thank you for, you know, thank you to the YouTube algorithm gods for sending me Jamie Hart back, gosh, about 2.5 years ago now. Thank you for seeing something in what we do here, Jamie, and for sticking around through all the ups and the downs and all the bullshit and everything like that, and being, you know, a friend and somebody that I can count on and somebody that I can trust through everything. So thank you so very much. Thank you for being a channel member as well. Thank you for being the mama mod and holding down the fort over here. And Shannon dropping 200 jewels because she's jamming. Davey jammin'. What does the jammin' thing work? Is it actually jam? Did they put actual jam on here, or is it a guitar? I'm opening up. Oh, butts. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's like a cat with a hat on, and like I'm blind glasses. That's what's going on. And now she sends a, is that a 6-7? Did you just send a 6-7? What is that? Floating heart from Carrie, 10 jewels. Thank you so much. And Shannon sends the 6-7. I still don't know what it means, where it's from. I have no frame of reference. I feel like a total, like I might as well be an alien or somebody that lives 2,000 years in the past. I might as well be. You guys are so beautiful. Thank you so very much. That is going to wrap it up for this one. Guys, I will be live. This is important. 3 p.m. tomorrow, I will be live. We are going to write the sequel to Halloween. Now, here's the thing, guys. During the live stream, at the very beginning of the live stream, you are going to pick where in the franchise we reboot. I'm going to give you some options. And then from there, we're just going to build the thing from the ground up. We're going to spend about an hour and a half on the stream just writing a story somewhere in the Halloween franchise. So a couple things to think about and to sleep on. Where in that timeline do you think the most fertile field is? You know, where in that timeline is, oh, there's the opportunity to tell a really cool Halloween story that we've never seen. And then think about which main characters you want to carry over, and maybe think about a main character or two that you want to make sure we leave out. Think about those things. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your night. It looks like Shannon sent in another 10 jewels for another floating heart and 2 jewels for some sparkles. Ooh, sparkles. Thank you so very much. You guys are amazing. Daniel, thank you so much for jumping on in, man. One of our great channel members. You know, I feel very similarly to you there, Daniel. Yeah, if you scrub back, you will hear me saying things very similar to that. You guys are amazing. Thank you so very much. I do have to jet, but tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, we're going to write the sequel to Halloween. I'm so excited for that. But you guys know how we do this, right? Oh, let me close out the poll really quick. Ooh, this is a tight poll. It's one of my favorite things to say in public. We got a real tight poll here, everyone. That's a tight poll. So where do you guys stand on the use of AI in film, television, and streaming? 37 votes. 51% of you say I'm against it completely. Now, at the beginning of the night, that was like 70 something. 43% of you say I'm okay with paid artists using it. I find that to be very encouraging that those numbers are pretty close from this audience. And then 6% of you say they can use it all they want. So there we go. We got some people that's like no limits at all. Just over half of you are like, you don't want it used at all, which I totally get that that's the sentiment. I think it'll be interesting to see this conversation develop as, you know, just as AI develops. And as we see either more of it, or we see action being taken against it in, you know, in entertainment. So we all have to pee, Jamie. We all have to pee. Okay, guys, that is going to wrap it up for me. What a way to end the stream. I love it. Don't you love it? You guys are amazing. I will be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. But until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.